Good evening, everybody. I want to spend a few minutes with you this evening having a conversation with you about gastric sleeve surgery. I've made a lot of videos, or several up to this point, regarding my plastic surgery that's upcoming. It's been temporarily delayed. I did receive word that, fingers crossed, I might be having it on Monday, so I'll know more as we go forward. But anyway, I've made lots of videos about my plastic surgery coming up. And my skin removal and all the coolest things that go hand in hand with extreme weight loss. And I have yet to make anything about what got me to this point, which was my gastric sleeve surgery. And my gastric sleeve surgery was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. It's an absolute game changer, life-changing, life-saving in a lot of ways for a lot of people like me. At my highest, I weighed 506 pounds, as you can see on the cover photo for this video. I was exceptionally large man, very, very unhealthy. Lots of things that kind of go along with that. I couldn't sit on, chairs without fear of them breaking. I couldn't ride roller coasters. I couldn't, do a lot of things, a lot of vehicles I couldn't drive. I couldn't ride passenger in a lot of my friends' vehicles. A lot of the things that kind of go hand in hand with excessive weight, morbid obesity, and my heart just goes out to anybody and everybody out there who struggle with that. So I wanted to take a minute and explain to all of you how much gastric surgery has meant to me. The sleeve has absolutely changed my life. I had my surgery done by Dr. Hahn at Casey Bariatric in Kansas City, and he did a phenomenal job. The man is a very compassionate, loving individual who I believe is in this to help people primarily. And he has a very successful business and a very, very high rate of surgeries. He does lots of successful surgeries, very, very few complications. And they offer support groups and follow-ups and anything you can imagine needing. He provides it for you, and I'm not affiliated with Dr. Hahn at Casey Bariatric whatsoever, other than my annual follow-ups at this point, and the opportunity to shake his hand whenever I see him. But they're definitely not paying me to make this video. I just, they're the doctor that I went with, or that he's the doctor I went with, and he did an amazing job. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out and let y'all know, especially for anybody close, any of my personal friends, anybody in the Casey area or nearby, it's worth the trip, But anyway, some of the phenomenal outcomes that have came from my surgery have been, first of all, my massive reduction in medications. I've been on so many medications in my life, from blood thinners. I was on, at the time of my surgery, I was on 3 different blood pressure medications, all very high doses, and still weren't keeping my blood pressure under control. I've had lots of medical problems. I talk a little bit in my other videos about pituitary adenomas and then pulmonary embolisms, and a lot of things that kind of came along with that. And a lot of it just has to do with my lifestyle and the choices I was making, and the amount of unhealthy food that I was putting into my body, I feel brought a lot of it on. And now that I am free of a lot of those negative the effects that those foods have on your body, I just feel so much better. And it's not because I was strong enough mentally to make the decisions to walk away from those foods. It's that the surgery allows you no other choice. It does take work and it does take dedication, absolutely, but it takes a huge part of all of that right off the table, and it's just so nice, if you do make a bad choice, you're not eating 5,000 calories. I talk about back in my heyday, my typical evening meal standard was a large stuffed crust meat lovers pizza and a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. And, you know, me binging and messing up now is 2 slices of pizza and, you know, Diet Pepsi, you know. So the surgery is an absolute game changer. I'm 2 years out. You know, no serious complications whatsoever. I do get heartburn a little bit more often. Nothing that's makes me miserable. You know, I know that there's people out there who have some, you know, more significant health effects. I think a lot of them are mental, that kind of stem from, you know, what they can and can't eat afterwards, and that really bothers them. I don't know if you can hear it right now, ironically, but um, my stomach is actually one of the biggest negative side effects. The noise it makes, it's constantly making noises. It's just like wanting to be heard all the time. So, you know, that's one thing, but any of the negatives that come along with it is just so magnificently overweighed and outweighed by the positives that it's just not even worth thinking about, in my opinion. I'm able to ride on roller coasters with my kids now. You know, there's no roller coaster out there I can't ride on. There's no vehicle I can't fit in. It's phenomenal. You know, I've lost 231 pounds now, I believe. And I just hope to keep on losing. You know, I'm really excited about these upcoming surgeries to help get rid of this, you know, the excessive amount of skin that I have, and the, you know, the extra fat deposits that I can't get rid of on my own. Dr. Holding at KU is doing that plastic surgery for me, and I'm really excited. I think it's a huge step towards getting where I've always wanted to be. You know, living a life extremely bullied and beaten down by society, and you know, just because I was different, it takes a big toll on you, you know. And it's a lot of people can't really learn to love themselves like you really need to be able to do, you know. And it's just very hard. It took me a long time to get to the point where I was able to love myself. And honestly, I think that you almost have to be there before you can be successful with gastric sleeve surgery. You have to be able to love yourself and who you are and accept yourself. And then what you're doing is you're loving yourself so much that you want yourself to live. And you're doing whatever it takes to get to that point, you know. And you got to find something that keeps you moving forward, something that keeps you every day waking up and making you just press on, you know, making you fight and giving you something to live for. That's what this is all about. I think that, you know, once you reach a certain point with your weight, your morbid obesity, you kind of we just give up. And I know I gave up, man. And I've got a story that goes along with that. I'll tell it another day, but I had just given up and I just let myself go, and I was just waiting around to die. And I think that's the case for a lot of us when we reach a certain point. And it comes about, that change comes when we make a conscious decision to love ourselves enough to want to live. And gastric sleeve, for those of us who've tried every single diet under the sun, and I have tried every single diet under the sun. I've probably done more damage to my body by putting all these different kinds of pills in it, and you know, starvation, and, you know, here, and then keto there, OMAD, you know, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I really do maintenance with keto and OMAD, but I'm just using those for examples. You know, there's just so many different diets I've done over these years, and I've probably done some significant damage to my body just trying to force myself with this, you know, crazy weight loss schemes. But what it comes down to is when you find something that works, if you love yourself enough to make it want to work, it's going to work. And if you don't, there's people that go into this just because they're pushed and they're prodded into it, and a lot of times they're not successful, or they're miserable and they are successful, but they don't love it because, you know, they left that food behind for the wrong reasons, guys. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand us, but our addictions are just as sincere as any addiction out there. They're just as extreme as an alcoholic's, you know, addiction to alcohol or a drug addict's addiction to meth, whatever the case may be. You know, when it comes to food, there's just something in our body that's predisposed us to that addiction, and we can't just do it on our own a lot of times. Or when we do, it's for a short period of time. You know, I've yo-yoed so many times up and down. I used to laugh about how easy I could lose 100 pounds, but then I put 120 back on as soon as I fell off the wagon. You know, and I'm just I can't stress enough. I've pointed several people to gastric sleeve surgery, and I cannot stress enough to you how life-changing it is if you're ready to make a change in your life. And please feel free to comment, message me, whatever you'd like to do. I'll happily answer questions. I'm very passionate about gastric sleeve surgery, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm always uploading new videos, and click like if it helped you. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.